Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. I'm Erick Baker, and I've lived in Tennessee my entire life. However, for the last decade, touring the world, I've only seen it passing by from a windshield. But finally, Tennessee is calling me back where I belong. There's a place you've never been. It's right where you want to be. I want to rediscover how great my home state is, and I want you to come with me. Uncharted. Today we're floating over to Sparta, Tennessee. Proudly known as Bluegrass, USA, Sparta, which is located near the base of the western ridge of the Cumberland Plateau, has been ringing with the sound of guitars, banjos, and mandolins for a very long time. However, on this trip, it's not the picking that brings us here, but the paddling, because the historic bluegrass roots of this area are planted deep into the banks of three very distinctive rivers, the Caney Fork, Calfkiller, and Collins, and they each have a song of their own. On this episode of Tennessee Uncharted, I'm setting sail on a rolling river adventure to discover some new ways to enjoy the water of this area and also, as it turns out, to get a better look at the beauty of the unexpected. Our journey begins at Caney Fork Outdoors with a gentle float alongside Cheryl and Dennis, who have devoted their lives to enjoying the outdoors and sharing their love for it. We are just a few minutes down the river, and already just in the water as we're going along, we've seen hundreds, literally hundreds of fish. It's raining just a little bit, but hey, who comes on a river trip and doesn't expect to get wet? And they've let some water out. The river's flowing great. And man, already this is shaping up to be an awesome day.
We have a nephew right now that's grown and has 3 children of his own, and sat and told Dennis if it wasn't for us taking him camping and boating when he was young with our daughter, he wouldn't have the love for the outdoors. Mm-hmm. If you just stop, breathe, take the time to listen to the world around you. Whether you're on water or not, it's just being outdoors is good for your soul.
Absolutely. Another beautiful part of being outdoors is never quite knowing what to expect. Sadly, today it was a rain shower that just wouldn't let up. But fortunately, Tennessee offers so many opportunities for diversion that while we couldn't make our float work due to a brewing storm, we were just a quick drive away from brewing something else just as spectacular. Whenever I'm out on the road, I always try to get a good taste of the local flavor. And in these parts, nobody knows the local flavor quite like the folks of Catkiller Brewing Company, who, by their own admission, believe that beer shouldn't be merely tasted, but experienced. So when they invited me to their own backyard to brew a batch, I had to be here, rain or shine. So let's get to work. You ready? Can I help here? Is that... Not the first time I've been called a mule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we have here is we've actually got our grain mill. And the grain mill is actually, what we're going to do is we're actually going to be cracking open the husk of the barley to expose the starches inside.
Okay.
So we can convert all those starches to sugars in the mash. There's the 4 main ingredients of beer, and you've got your water, you got your barley, your hops, and then your yeast. So, it's pretty, it's kind of mesmerizing. I mean, you can stare at it for hours.
You're like, it's kind of like gravity pulling you in.
Yeah, but if you want, you can actually take the barley and you can actually eat a little bit of it, man. Nice, eh?
Nice.
As your mouth starts to break down the starches, man, you get a nice little bit of sweetness there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Cool. Well, let's head downstairs. We'll bag a little bit, and then we'll come back up and finish grinding.
Let's do it. have a degree in chemistry or anything like
Actually,
that?
Dave and I both failed chemistry in college. That's pretty funny.
What you got there? Is that the tea?
You need to check this out, man. Yeah, this is the barley tea.
Okay.
So we've actually created all these sugars. And so now we've basically made this really sweet, sweet tea. Isn't that nice, man?
Wow.
Yeah. So the cool thing about that is that's actually going to be what the beer comes across as. It's just not going to be as sweet because we'll end up adding hops.
That's delicious, man.
Yeah, man, it's awesome.
I mean,
This is our sanitized vessel.
Full of yeast we collected from the batch prior. So we pulled it right out of the bottom of the other batches. It's kind of like bread starter.
We use one singular yeast strain for every beer that we produce, which is very unlike most breweries in the United States. Because we found this one yeast strain as homebrewers, and we loved it so much that we just thought it was awesome, and so we decided to use it for every beer we produce.
so that is a living thing, right?
This is, it's just a living organism that is going to go in and consume all these sugars we've created.
What we're having here, it is the finished product of what we've been working on all day long, right?
As you might say, the fruits of our labor, our
Okay.
daily labor today.
Our smoky treat.
Smoky treat.
Calfkiller Brewing Company. Where did the name come from?
The name comes from the river, the Calfkiller River, which is the municipal supply of water to the city of Sparta, which means that it is the source of the water that we brew with. The name comes from many, many legends and lore.
And this was actually told to us by an 83-year-old lady who came to the brewery one day, and she never had a drop of beer in her life, but she tried a beer while she was here. Because she
Isn't that
had
cool?
to, because she was like, I grew up on this river, in this area. She's like, I have to try the beer that's actually named after this area. And the reason they got the name is because there was actually an Indian chief. This Indian chief had a herd of buffalo that he actually would roam around in the area here. And so the first image that the settlers saw of this Indian chief was him sacrificing a buffalo calf off of a bluff into the river. And so from that point on, they called him Chief Calfkiller. And so it just kind of led into the Calfkiller name and kind of being the lore that actually goes along with the river name.
Whether it's biscuits or beer, it's hard to beat homemade. And even as good as the brews are here at Calfkiller Brewing Company, sadly, I can't have too many. Tomorrow I've got an early morning to try my hand at catching a creature much more elusive than a fantastic beer. So cheers, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. This is a family show here. Hadn't even gotten out on the river yet, and the adventure has already begun. We have buried a truck quite impressively, burned up a winch. Not only is this a fishing adventure, but also a tractor pull.
Well, heck, that's easy.
Well, that was exciting. Not only has the Collins River earned the distinction of being named one of Tennessee's official scenic rivers, it is also one of the only homes in the state to a very uncommon and very impressive trophy fish, the muskie, reaching sizes of up to 50 inches in length and 40 pounds in weight. The muskie is often referred to as the fish of 10,000 casts. But today, I have guide Dwayne Hickey and TWRA biologist Jack Swearingen to not only help my chances, but to also tell me how in less than 20 years, this elusive beast has come back from the brink of extinction. So you said that muskie are finicky?
They're known to be very finicky. There's people that fish for days without connecting with the muskie at times.
That's not gonna be us though, right?
We're gonna hope that's not gonna be us. An old muskie fisherman said his friend asked him to do any good and said, yeah, I had 2 follows in 10 hours. I
Wow.
hope it's that good tomorrow.
Wow.
They were once native to a lot of Tennessee streams and rivers. They lost their spawning habitat a lot when the dams were built, and they kind of died out. So back in the mid-'80s, I think, early '80s, the native strain of muskie was reintroduced. That's the only strain that we have, and they are reproducing at a pretty good rate. So we're thinking that the fishery is going to sustain itself.
It may not be a beautiful day for the fish, but it's a beautiful day for me to be fishing. I feel good about this one. Come on.
Hold a good tight line. Hold a good tight line. You just stay tight on it. It's a good fish. Decent. Good job,
Keep
Eric.
him tight, okay?
Keep him tight.
Wow, look at that.
Come around me. Come around me. Oop, not yet. Good line. Keep a good line. Now turn his head a little. There you go. There you go.
Hold on.
He flipped right in the net, Eric.
Oh.
Right when I was scooping, he jumped. What do you think?
Man. I feel like I've asked a girl out on a date and she said no. I guess you need a bigger net.
It's about as big as they come.
All right, so we're getting close to the end of our trip here, and our good friend, Mr. Jack Swearingen, has joined us in the boat. Did you see the size of the muskie that I missed there?
That was a nice one.
Yeah.
You won't beat that many spots.
My heart is broken, it really is.
At one time, you know, the muskie was an endangered species in Tennessee.
Okay.
And that raised a lot of red flags, and TWRA got on board and decided, you know, we needed to do something, and through a lot of effort from a lot of different people, from hatcheries to biologists to law enforcement, the muskie has made an amazing recovery.
Why repopulate them?
It was a native species, you know, and TWRA's mission goal is to protect and maintain, you know, native species in the state of Tennessee.
My father, your father, their fathers have all fished for muskie, and there's a long tradition of muskie fishing. And
Oh, yeah.
whatnot. Yeah, TWRA is reintroducing not only muskie, but the legacy that,
The legacy
that
that
fishing
goes
them
with it.
is. And this is the first time I've ever muskie fished. And just as that fish came to the top, I mean, that's a fish I've never laid eyes on before. And I mean, there's something really special about that. I mean, I can see why the sport is growing. Now, I'll be honest. With the help of Jack and Dwayne, I really expected to catch a muskie today. But surprisingly, my heartbreak has got me hooked. Because now I know I'll be forever haunted by that one that got away until I can return once again and try my luck at winning her hand. On the bright side, though, I've only got 9,819 casts to go. Or I guess next time I could just bring a bigger net. But where's the beauty in that? Had an incredible time out on the Collins River today. However, there were a few places we couldn't quite get to. And that's what brings me here, to tour Jackson Kayak, where handmade products made right here in Sparta, Tennessee come in a boatload of varieties. Ian, you ready to roll?
Let's paddle.
Let's do it.
When we first started, we had 8 employees, and back in 2004, they were all kayakers. They all knew what they were getting into. They all knew about the products. We grew a whole bunch. There's almost 150 people that work at this building now, 10 years later. Your first 2 or 3 weeks here, they hand you a paddle, a boat, and a life jacket, and they take you with them, and they kind of teach you and they get you fired up about it.
So that love of boating goes
grows.
into making the boat.
Yeah, it's
too,
addictive,
right?
and then you've got this product that you want to make the best you can because you're using it, your friends are using it, your family's using it. Yeah, we love it around
So
here.
what are we looking at here?
This is our molding department, Eric. This is where it all starts. This is where kayaks are born.
Oh, all right.
What you're seeing is giant clam ovens behind us. the entire oven's gonna open up. We're gonna put these frames with the molds in them, already have the powder in there and get it pouring up. They're gonna rock and roll for about 45 minutes at about 600 degrees. When it's done, we're gonna have our kayak hull. We can start building it and turn it into a real kayak.
It's gonna be my first kayak right there.
So after a little bit of a wait, Eric, your boat's out of the oven. We're in assembly now. Now we're gonna put all your seat in, your handles on, get all your parts in there, and make your boat ready to go out there and get on the water.
I want to hear the story of how Jackson Kayaks got started.
Yeah, Eric Jackson founded it in 2004 over in Rock Island, Tennessee, just 13 miles from where we're at now. So we're still at our home. We're, fully a Tennessee staffed company. Almost everybody here is a Tennessean. So we're just really happy with where we've gone in 10 years. We make 90% of what you see on the boat here in-house. From the small things to the big things, we're making most of it. I mean, we're not making nuts and bolts and stuff like that.
Right.
But if we can make it here, we do. If we can't, we try to find it here in Tennessee. There's only 3 or 4 products in the entire building that come from overseas in here, and it's either due to patent reasons or there's not a manufacturer in the States that make it. So we pride ourselves on that. Make it and get it as close as we can. So Dave's been one of our original employees. He's worked in literally every department that's been in the building since we were founded. And that's why he's up here in QC checking all the boats. Since he's done everything, he kind of has an idea of what the boat should really be like when it's done.
I think one of the things that makes us different from our competitors, we really take a lot of pride in every single boat that we build here. It doesn't really matter if it's a demo or a select first quality or a boat that we're building for EJ and Nick. We try to make each boat its very best and look its very best for the customers.
We're in our shipping warehouse now.
Okay.
It's about 90% sold is the surprising fact. Almost everything up in here is waiting on either another boat to get up here to join with it before we ship, or waiting on a ship date.
What all do you make here?
30 to
boat-wise?
40 something different kayaks. You got whitewater, which is what made us famous. You've got fishing, which is what took us to the next level and made us a stronger manufacturer. And then you got wreck and touring, which is what most people are doing when they're just going out and floating or hanging out on the lake or on the river.
So is fishing then the biggest thing going now?
It's the
or-
biggest thing going in the kayak industry, and kayak fishing is the biggest thing going in the fishing industry right now. Like our new big rig, it's specifically designed for people that were in big bass boats, in John boats, and bring them into a kayak that's going to be comfortable. It's going to have a lot of the same bells and whistles, a lot of the same amenities,
Right.
and a lot of the same stability, but it's not going to be putting them in a little tiny kayak. We're going to try to have a good time in the right boat.
And then this is going to be able to get places that a bass
Oh
boat.
yeah, all those nice inlets, those nice creeks and rivers in your area that those big motorized boats can't get to, or those private lakes that aren't letting motorized boats on anymore. Great option.
All right, man, I'm going to be honest. Being surrounded by all these boats all day long, it just seems like a total shame to not take one out for a swim. So,
Oh, yeah.
And I hear that there's some pretty good whitewater close by, right?
We got something down the road. Sure do.
What is it? Rock Island?
We have Rock Island State Park, and it's beautiful rapids.
So how about this? What are the chances I come back tomorrow and maybe get a lesson?
I think we can arrange something. We might be able to find somebody to get you on the water.
All right. Well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow.
Good
then.
deal, Eric. Thanks
Okay,
for coming
thank
by.
you, man.
See you
Thank
tomorrow, man.
Okay. Like the waters of the Caney Fork, Collins, and Calfkiller rivers build up to these rapids at Rock Island, we too have journeyed to this world-renowned whitewater. By reputation, only the best of the best can face these waters at their worst. Luckily, we've met up with the very best. World champion freestyle kayaker and founder of Jackson Kayak, Erick Jackson.
Coolest thing about a kayak is the fact that you can tip over, roll up, and keep going. Now, right now, you can tip over and then you can't roll up and keep going. We're gonna fix that. What do you say?
I hear you, man. I'm in.
Let's do it. Good. So we're gonna learn to do that first. Lay back first and slap the water cold. Beautiful. Lay back, slap. Oh, beautiful. Nice. Fine. Okay, so here's the deal. All the energy, remember, is going to go into rolling the boat. None of the energy goes to lift your body up. The objective is to go from here to here without moving your body. No point you lift your body up. You're just scooping the boat under you. Okay, hip snap. Let's see it. Check it out, folks. Nice! He's ready to rock and roll! No hesitation whatsoever! Unbelievable!
Our gentle journey down the stream has abruptly turned into whitewater. And I have to admit, I'm a little scared because this is my first time whitewater kayaking solo. And even though I'm really good at the first part of rolling over in a kayak, it's the rolling back over that I haven't quite mastered yet.
Freestyle kayaking is the name for the sport of showing off how much you've been playing on the river, basically.
Yeah, man.
And as you can see, we were doing tricks, flipping around and playing in the waves, surfing around, doing front flips, stuff like that. The competitions are just where you've got a time limit and you've got judges that score every move you do during that time. And whoever does the most high-scoring moves in the 60 seconds that you have wins the competition, pretty much. I've been doing this a long time, and I saw somebody get vertical in a boat a long time ago when boats were a lot longer, and I thought that was just impossible. That was the craziest thing I ever saw, and I wanted to do that. The sport has kind of evolved, you know, in my lifetime as me as a kayaker, and I've just been fortunate enough to be part of that evolution.
Part of that evolution,
yeah, so
absolutely.
both just as an athlete and then also designing boats and stuff like that. So just kind of, it's just fun watching something like that evolve and like become more and more and cooler and cooler. It's awesome.
So your dad's passed this on to you. Do you plan on following in his footsteps?
Personally, kayaking is my future. It's definitely what I want it to be. I want to kayak as long as I can, and definitely seeing how it was being born directly into the sport of kayaking and growing up with the sport of kayaking, I've seen what it does for us as a family and being able to travel together and live together and do sports together all the time. So it's very hard to not want to follow in those footsteps for sure.
Keep that going.
Yeah.
With this in your backyard, I mean, this is just mind-blowingly beautiful. I mean, the area and everything is so pristine, and I know that it's important for you to keep it that way
Keep it
as
clean.
well.
Obviously, you know, we come down there, sometimes you'll find garbage or trash, you know, people leave cans or fishing stuff on the shore or whatever, and hopefully people be a little more careful and remember to pick up after themselves or even pick up after somebody else. Just because Tennessee and here at Rock Island is one of the most impressive places there is anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
So we want to keep it top notch for sure.
Nick, you're from Canada, right?
I got into kayaking, came down here and hung out with the Jacksons a little bit.
Yeah.
And then fell in love with the spot, and then at the same time, I guess, fell in love with EJ's daughter, and so married her, and now we have a place down here, and this is where we call home.
So from Canada, though, I mean, obviously there's water in Canada, but I mean, is it better here in Tennessee than in Canada?
There's great water up in Canada as well, but what Tennessee offers is year-round whitewater. So we can go kayaking, but fall comes around, it gets too cold, winter comes, and then everything freezes over.
Right.
And here you can literally come out 365 and kayak every day of the year. In the wintertime, it still snows and it'll get cold, but you still can go kayaking and do whatever you want. So go hang out outside, play games and stuff. So just, I guess it just opens up a lot more opportunities down south.
On this episode, I got a good look at why some people say the view is better from the boat. Things didn't quite turn out the way we thought they were going to when we first set out on the Caney. But what I learned is that real beauty and adventure is often in the unexpected. It's true there's a lot of fear in the unknown, but there's also hope. And whether it's brewing beer, building kayaks, or bobbing upside down underwater, it's about paddling out past your comfort zone and looking back, surprisingly, to discover just how far you've come on your journey. Mother Nature is a very mysterious woman, but boy, is she full of some beautiful surprises. So grab a paddle, set sail, and start rowing gently down the stream. And may you never forget that no matter what the water brings your way, life is but a dream.